Hi guys, this is Vineet, and in today's video we will talk about a resource database in SQL Server. Before we proceed ahead, I would request you guys to please go ahead and quickly subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on the bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. I hope you have subscribed by now. Let's move ahead. So there are some points to remember while watching this video. Please watch this video till the end to gain better clarity of the concept. And if it's possible for you, please watch this video twice or as many times as you want until the concept gets clear to you. Perform any exercises in your test and lab environments only. Do not touch any production environment or production databases. And we would like to know your thoughts regarding our videos, so please do share your comments. We love to read your comments and eagerly wait for them. So post us your suggestions, any ideas and comments, your day-to-day stories with SQL Server, or you may also share about any situations where videos created by me helped you in some way. I have curated some playlists for you to watch. A few of my playlists are the database design playlist, the server SQL Server tables playlist, business continuity playlist, SQL Server indexing playlist, performance tuning playlist, and integration services playlist. In total, I have around 169 videos right now posted on my channel. The link for all these playlists are given in the video description area, so please check them out. And guys, I would say that going through a playlist is the best way to learn things. So for example, if you want to learn about integration services, what I would suggest is go to the integration services playlist and start watching videos from scratch till the end to gain idea and knowledge on particular domain area in SQL Server. And apart from this, I have a channel page link. The link is given in the description area of the video as well. If you go to my channel page, you will get the subscribe button there as well. You can subscribe from there as well. And apart from that, on my channel page, you will find all these playlists and also a playlist that is curated for you as per your maybe watch history. Now let's come back to today's topic. Today we will be discussing about the resource database in SQL Server. So let's quickly go to notes. So we will create notes on the fly. I have changed the pattern of creating notes. So let's talk about resource database. So what is a resource database? It's basically it's a it is a read-only database. First point is this. And what does it contain? It contains all the system objects that are included with the SQL Server. Alright, so first of all, it's a read-only database. And second thing is it contains all the system objects that are included with the SQL Server. So where are all the SQL Server system objects stored? So SQL Server system objects can be found in sys.objects table, and these objects so these SQL Server system objects can logically persist in the sys.objects view, and these objects basically physically persist in or physically exist in the resource database. So I think it's clear up till this point. So the SQL Server system objects physically persist in the resource database, but these objects logically appear in the sys schema of every database. So every database has a sys schema. So that sys schema contains the logical representation of each and every SQL Server system object. All right, and let's move on to next point. And if we talk about the resource database does not contain any user data. So it only contains the SQL Server system objects and does not contain any user data or any user metadata as well. All right. Uh, so basically, what's the benefit of? So if we talk about benefit uh, of this resource database, so basically the resource database makes it easier upgrading to a new version of SQL Server. So one of the benefits is in upgrading of database, and this benefit is provided by the let me change the color over here. Maybe it's something like uh, this one. This look good. So one of the benefits of resource databases, it makes it easier upgrading to a new version of SQL Server. Uh, so it makes it easier as well as faster as well, if we can say. So upgrading is faster and easier. Now, if we talk about the earlier versions of SQL Server, upgrading required dropping and creating system objects. So earlier versions of SQL Server, in the earlier version of SQL Server, upgrading required dropping and recreation of system objects. So this was true with the earlier version of the SQL Server. So in the earlier version of SQL Server, if there is a need to upgrade, the upgrading process required dropping an existing system object and creating new system objects. And because the resource database file contains all the system objects, an upgrade is now accomplished. So now this has changed. So earlier, the storage mechanism to store the system objects in the earlier version of SQL Server was different. Now all the system objects are stored in the resource database file. So upgrading is easier. Upgrading becomes easier. So we can say because the resource database file contains all the system objects now instead of system objects being held in the database tables, and now the resource database file contains all the system objects. And upgrade, oh, sorry guys, an upgrade can simply be accomplished by copying the single resource database file. All right, so what we need to do is upgrade can simply be done by copying the single or copying or replacing the single resource database file. All right, and to the local server. So during the upgrade, only the replacement of old file with the new file is required in order to upgrade the SQL Server system objects. All right, now let's talk about some of the physical properties of the resource database. So the physical name of the resource database file is MS SQL System Resource.mdf. Now let me show you where those files are, and the log data file is MS SQL System Resource LDF. Let me mention the name of these files. So the primary data file for resource database is MS SQL System Resource .mdf, and the log data file is MS SQL System Resource .ldf, which stands for log data file. And if we talk about these files are located in the instance location inside the bin directory. So let me show it to you quickly. Although I think I had shown this to you in one of my earlier videos as well, but yeah, let me go ahead and quickly show you. So you need to go to C drive and the program files. After program files, you need to select Microsoft SQL Server, and under that you need to select your instance and a SQL directory, and after that you need to open up the bin folder. So you will find both these files under the bin folder. So let's try to type that. So this one is the LDF file, this one is the MDF file. These are the resource database files, physical files. And if we talk about each instance of SQL Server, each instance of SQL Server has one and only one associated MS SQL System Resource MDF file, and we cannot share these files between the instances. So each file is dedicated to its specific instance, and basically there is an important thing. Upgrade and service pack sometimes provide a new resource database file which is installed to the bin folder. Changing the location of the resource database is not supported or recommended. So we shouldn't be changing the location of the resource database files. So because certain upgrades and service packs require the resource database files to be present under a specific location, so we do not recommend changing the location of the files. Now let's talk about backing up and restoring the resource database. So SQL Server cannot back up the resource database, so it cannot be backed up from the UI, because if you open SQL Server, it does not list the resource database under the system databases section. So anyhow, let me show that to you. I've just invoked the SQL Server instance. So once it opens up, I will connect to the default instance of SQL Server, and let's wait for it to open. All right, it's open. Let me connect to the default instance, and if you take a look, expand the databases section. Under system databases, you will find all the other databases like master, model, msdb, tempdb, but you will not find the resource database. So for resource database, we only have files that are stored in this location. All right, and as the database does not show up in here in the UI, so we cannot take backup of that database through here using the backup commands, and we cannot basically backup the resource database. And the only way to backup is to perform any file-based backups where we can backup these two individual files. So we can perform own file-based or a disk-based backup by creating the MS SQL System Resource MDF, and this is the primary data file. So we can treat it as any other binary file rather than a database file. But we cannot use SQL Server to restore our backups. So basically, we can take backup of file and replace it. But yeah, similarly, we cannot like we cannot backup this file from the UI. We cannot restore this file from the UI as well. Now, restoring a backup copy of MS SQL System Resource MDF can only be done manually by just copying and pasting the file. And we must be careful not to override the current resource database with an out of date or potentially insecure version. So we need to keep that in mind. So these files should not be replaced with any unsecure version, and similarly these files should not be replaced by any similar files which are out of date. So before doing any backups and restore or file-based backups and restores, just be careful. Now, after restoring the backup of MS SQL system resource MDF, we must reapply any subsequent updates. All right. Now, let me show you how you can access the resource database, and let's talk about that. So how to access the resource database. Now, resource database should only be modified by or at the direction of Microsoft Customer Support Services. We shouldn't be modifying this file altogether. But yeah, in case the modification to this file is required, we would suggest you to contact Microsoft Customer Support Services specialist. And the ID of resource database is always 32767. That's the ID of this database. And it will always be 32767. And other important values associated with the resource database are the version number and the last time that the database was updated. So this resource database file has a database ID 32767. Apart from that, it has a version number as well as the last time that database was updated. And to basically get that information, how we can get that information, let me show that to you. So open a new query, and once you open the new query, what you can do is you can run a command. So you may run that along with me. So it's a select command, and we are using the server property function, and inside that function you can mention resource version, which basically tells us the version of the resource database. Sorry guys, so resource version is the key you have to use, and spelling are correct. Let's execute it. So the resource version is right now 16.00.1110. This is the resource version right now. And in order to find when the resource database was last updated, you need to run the following command. So perform a select, and I don't know why it's behaving in a weird way. So let's select the server property function, and this time you need to use a different parameter. So in order to check when the resource file was last updated, so you can select the last update time option and execute it. So resource last update time, I think it's case sensitive, so let me try again. So last update time is not giving me any information, instead it's giving me null. So I think the resource file is not updated, and it is in original version. It was not updated after this version, so that's why we are getting null over here. In case any of the service packs updates this resource file, we will get some datetime stamp over here, but right now we are not getting any. Now, to access the SQL definitions of the system objects, we can use the object definition functions. So let me run this command. So there's a object definition function. Let's try to use this function. Under that, we can pass on the object ID, right? And object ID is another function. And in object ID, we pass the sys.objects view, which contains all the system objects. So if we run this command, so it is giving me a create view. There's a SQL command it is giving me. So this is the SQL definition of sys.objects. So it contains the object ID. This is, maybe we can try to run this command to see what do we usually get. Let's see. So basically, if we run this command, it will create a view. So I don't want to create the sys.objects view. So sys.objects is a view, first of all. And we can see the object ID definition of that view. So what that view does is, it is selecting, we are checking the definition of this view. So this view is selecting various columns from the sys objects dollar table. So in order to just check the system objects, right now we have just checked the definition. So in order to check the sys object, what we can do, we can simply do select star from sys.objects, which will gives us a list of all the system objects we have in the system. So this is a list of system objects. Previously we were just viewing the definition of the view, how that view was created. The sys.objects view out of table this sys.objects dollar view was created, sys.objects. In order to just view the system objects, do select star from sys.objects, and this table list out all the, or this view list out all the system objects present in the system. There are a total of 114 objects listed here. So guys, we are done with this video. In this video we have talked about the resource database. So I hope you like this video, and let's go back to notes. In today's video we have talked about resource database, its benefits, and how using the resource database has now make us easier to upgrade the databases where just a file replacement is required. And yeah, we also shown you some of the server property function to know the resource version, resource file version, and the resource last update time. And we have also shown you how you can view the object definition of a particular view, which has given us the create view SQL syntax. And finally, we have shown you how you can query the sys.objects table to figure out what all system objects do we have in the system. So guys, we are done. I hope you like this video. If you really like it, please click on the like button which is coming below this video. Also guys, if you are new to this channel and sorry guys, if you are new to this channel and you have not already subscribed to this channel, there's a subscribe button below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. And also guys, do share your comments with us. I love to read them and also eagerly wait for the same. So share us your experiences, your comments, your suggestions, your requirements for future, your day-to-day experiences with SQL Server, any situations where my videos has helped you. So do post us your comments, and also guys, share this video with your friends in case you feel it is useful for them, and also ask them to subscribe to my channel if you feel they work in SQL domain and my channel in any way can improve their life. Please do ask them to join my channel. And today we have completed the resource database in SQL Server. Most of it was theory, but yeah, we have done some practicals as well, where we ran some SQL commands. So guys, I thank you so much for your time on this video today, and you have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.